Browns fans, Week 1 is in the books, and thank God, so we can start getting ready for Week 2, as the Houston Texans will come to First Energy Stadium, which I already know is going to be rocking. So if you can't wait for Week 2 and for the Browns to go 1-1 to start the year, like this video right now. Browns fans, I know you're ready for the first win of the season, so go ahead and like this video if you can't wait for Week 2 on Sunday. Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report. I'm Matthew Peterson, and we got some overreactions coming to you this Monday afternoon as we are filming, because Week 1 always provides a ton of reactions across the NFL. A lot of them can be blown out of proportion, but let's take a look at them. We'll evaluate how serious and credible they are. First overreaction here. Browns really need OBJ. I don't think this is way too far of a stretch, because here's the deal. Look what Kansas City did when they were in a bind, okay? They went to their star guys, Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Browns just didn't have that. OBJ inactive. He got ruled out during warmups on Sunday. And like I mentioned, when the Browns needed a go-to guy in the fourth quarter to put this game away, OBJ was in sweats as he still recovers from that torn ACL. I thought he would be a go for Week 1. I thought there was a lot of optimism surrounding him in training camp, but ultimately, you don't want to rush these things. You don't want to force it. So, when will OBJ return? What do you guys think here? Will it be as soon as this upcoming Sunday in Week 2, or could it be further? Let's check out the schedule here. Week 2 against the Texans will be a good idea to maybe sit him if he's not 100%, of course, because one would think the Texans will be an easy win this year, but they really, they just completely demolished the Jacksonville Jaguars. Week 3 against the Bears. Bears have a terrible secondary this year. That could be easy, but hopefully sooner than later. But let me know, what week will OBJ return? What's it going to be? As soon as next week, or are we looking further down the timeline? Tore his ACL in Week 7 last year against Cincinnati. So a full year will be Week 7. I don't think it will go to that point. I think it's going to be much sooner than then. But let me know what you're thinking down in the comments. Browns fans, we have 1 week in the books, and we have a long way to go. You know who lost their first game of the season last year? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers did. So don't lose hope at all. Don't start panicking at all. I'm not, definitely. But subscribe right now to the Browns Report, because that's what the real Browns fans do, so they can get all their Browns news, rumors, coverage, recaps, previews, you name it, we got it, all 2021 right here at the Cleveland Browns Report. So go ahead and subscribe right now. Next, Week 1 overreaction. Baker Mayfield dropped the ball in the fourth quarter. No, he didn't get a pass to him, but I think there is a bit of blame that has to go on Baker's shoulders here. He didn't play bad at all. I thought Baker played well. I really do. But when you're leading 29-20 with just over 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, good teams have to put that game away. So Baker kind of choked in that regard, because that's where the step needs to be taken. From good to great, from solid quarterback to franchise quarterback, you put those games away. And I think Baker's going to be in Cleveland for a long time. That's not a contested statement by any means. But when you're up by that much, by 9, leading at the half, double-digit lead against the Chiefs, and you know they are notorious for comebacks, you have to make the comeback. You have to put this game away. Check out the tale of these two halves here. The first half, the Browns were rolling, and I just loved that first drive by Kevin Stefanski. And we'll talk about him in a moment, but Kevin Stefanski, he better not walk on glass for a while, because those things were hanging to the floor, all right? He was just moving the ball up and down the field. Tons of great play calling going on. But the second half, check out the differences. It's right there on the screen for you guys. 3 touchdowns to 1, a pair of turnovers. The passing game, the rushing game, all of it fell apart when the Chiefs' defense looked like Swiss cheese in the first half. But in the second, sharp cheddar. So unfortunately, it came down to an interception on a bit of a rush pass from Mayfield. Wanted to throw it out of bounds. Ended up getting intercepted, and that's all she wrote. And so that's why for Baker here, only 1 scoring drive in the second half. Those just aren't the traits of a team that's going to be a Super Bowl winner. So, sure, I'm overreacting. It's just been 1 week. But do you blame Baker for the loss here? Type Y for yes or N for no down in the comments. For me, I'm going to give it, a lowercase y, okay? Because you're the starting quarterback. This kind of falls on your shoulders no matter what. You had a good game, but you're up by a handful with 10 minutes left. You got to put the game away. Browns just could not do it. Finally, my third overreaction from week 1, Kevin Stefanski got outcoached by Andy Reid. Not the case in the first half, but look at the third quarter. The Chiefs outscored the Browns in the third quarter 10-0. The Chiefs made adjustments, all right? And that's what coaching's about. Coming out of the first half, what kind of changes are you going to make? Because if you think going the same direction is going to result in going up, no. If you're doing the same, you're going down in the NFL. You have to be improving all the time, even throughout the course of a game. And that's where Andy Reid made the adjustments. He got Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce way more involved in the second half, and Kevin Stefanski and the defense just did not have an answer. Browns fans, the Browns sure didn't win. Don't get me wrong, that blows. But they did cover, and that means making some money. So head on over to BETUS right now. Great sportsbook partnership we have with them, and an awesome deal. Use the link right here, chatsports.com/bet. Then enter the promo code Browns125. They're going to slap on a 125% deposit bonus. Make some money on the Browns this season, or just bet against, well, I would say the Steelers, but they covered in week 1. But maybe fade the Ravens. I don't know. Pick your least favorite team in the AFC North. Go against them. Whatever you want, you know. The world's your oyster when you've got a BETUS account. So go right now. Everything you need, chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Browns125. Week 1 overreactions for the defense now, because they are not getting let off the hook here. First one, big overreaction. The secondary blows, all right? This was not the advertised defense we were all expecting with some free agent acquisitions and some improvements, but they just got worked in the second half by Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Ronnie Harrison, wish I could talk about you in the second half, but what was that? I mean, just punching a Chiefs assistant coach with an open fist, getting ejected. John Johnson didn't play like the big free agent signing he was. Newsome played for pretty much the entire game and held his weight, but, I mean, I don't know, probably was hoping a little bit more out of the first-round pick. And then Denzel Ward, I mean, just looked good but didn't look great. And you kind of hope for great when you're the star corner on the team. But look at Tyreek Hill. 11 receptions, nearly 200 yards and a score. I talked about in the preview, you have to limit Tyreek Hill. You can't expect to remove him from the game. That's just not foreseeable, and it's just not realistic. But they didn't limit him at all. Over 10 receptions. Listen, Hill was listening to Italian opera music in his helmet because he was dancing on the field. He had way too much fun for week 1 against what was supposed to be a great Browns defense, and I still think will be a very good Browns defense, but we didn't get that good Browns defense in week 1. So, while we're being critical, who looked the worst for the Browns? Who do you think it is? Handful of directions you could go. I think Ronnie Harrison's a cop-out answer after getting ejected. John Johnson, probably a very popular guess. Different directions you could go. But the linebackers also fared pretty poorly as well. What are you thinking? Let me know down in the comments. Next one, special teams. Jamie Gillan. He should expect some competition. Why? Because the first time you touch the ball, you drop it, and it leads to 6 right afterwards for Kansas City. So don't be blown away if head coach Kevin Stefanski brings in some punting competition for the third-year man from Scotland. I mean, Jamie, I understand mistakes happen. I make mistakes. We all do. We're human. But it's the NFL, and it's Sunday, and it's the fourth quarter. That's not the time for a mistake. And unfortunately, this is a business where, especially for special teams, the margin of error is so small. Quarterbacks can miss a bunch of passes. Kickers and punters don't get that luxury because they don't get called on very often. But when you are called on, you have to do your job. Next week, one overreaction defensively. The linebackers, they need some major work because Travis Kelce had a field day. Look at the depth chart here for the Browns. Walker, that big free agent acquisition as well, the leader of this defense in some ways from play calling. And then Mac Wilson and then JOK. I thought JOK would play more. He only played about 40% of the snaps, a little lower than I expected. But regardless, your job as a linebacker is to cover the tight ends and just be the field commander of that defense. And that defense got torched in the second half. And Kelce played a major factor in that. 6 receptions, 76 yards, 2 touchdowns. But that's not really what I'm looking at. I'm looking at just the simplicity and how effortlessly Kelce made it look. And that's going to share a burden on the corner, on the safeties, but also the linebackers as well. That was a position group that I was a little worried about going into the season. And unfortunately, they proved me right. But thankfully, it's just week 1. A lot of football left. Browns fans, if you cannot wait for this upcoming Sunday against the Texans and you think the Browns will be 1-1 when I'm standing here a week from today on Monday, then let me know. Go ahead right now and like this video if you're excited for the Browns to pick up their first win on Sunday against the Texans at First Energy Stadium.